I need powder?
No, if I don't, you definitely don't. You have hair. I'm reflecting back out.
That's the one thing I really hated was driving back from Fargo at 11 o'clock after the show, or 11:10. Take off the makeup, hop in the car, go north.
What show?
Doing the TV weather for KVOY.
You were at KVOY?
Yeah, and KXJB back in the day. Yeah. And
Before Tom Szymanski?
No, actually, I filled in. I did weekends, so I filled in for Tom. And also, you remember Dave Hovde? I don't know if you remember Dave.
No.
Yeah, Dave was he was on KXJB.
Okay.
I'm sorry to digress.
No, this is fine.
Yeah.
I did not know that you actually did.
Yeah, I filled in quite a bit. I was there for weekends from '99 to 2000. Then I came back here 2000, and I used to go down there for summer for the most part. I would fill in on the weekends and also during the week for Tom. For
No
Too
kidding.
Tall. Yeah.
Too Tall Tom Szymanski.
Yeah.
My gosh. I work for a radio station here in town, and I used to record Tom Szymanski.
Oh.
He would call in for the weather. And I wonder if you probably did it more than once or twice. Do you remember recalling?
Oh, no, I don't remember calling in. No, I don't remember calling in ever for Schmansky. No.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
never knew that. That's really cool. Did you ever teach weather mod, the class?
I taught weather mod once, and I've worked for Weather Modification Incorporated in Fargo for about 2 or 3 years as their chief meteorologist.
Okay, so I was trying to figure this out because I took. I don't remember if I took weather mod or aviation weather.
Oh,
for my back in like '96.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it was either you or Mike Pellet.
Yeah, and we, Mike and I traded off. He would teach the fall, I'd teach the spring, and I would do that. Oh gosh, for from I started here in '89 until '96, '97. I take that back, and then the flood came,
Mm-hmm.
and I was living in Fargo at the time, and I realized that, and it was the winter of '96, '97.
Oh yeah.
So I was driving back and forth. I missed half of my classes.
Wow.
So I got an offer from Weather Mod Inc. So I started working for Weather Mod Inc. In '97, and I worked for them until 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, I was their chief meteorologist, but also the perk of the job was I got to deliver airplanes.
Oh,
so I'd hop on the
you got the
Cessna
best of both
340s,
worlds
yeah.
then.
And I would
Wow.
fly also airborne research.
Okay.
So we'd be out on projects and just flying all sorts of weather. Yeah.
So I took the class with a buddy of mine. And I can't remember if it was you or Pellet. And they handed around what do you call that? The wick, the light.
Static wick.
Static
Yeah,
wick.
static wick. Yeah.
And I was a college kid, and I kind of hit my buddy in the arm with it, kind of stuck in his arm a little bit. So he took it and hit me with it, and so we started having a little battle. And it was either you or Pellet, and they stopped class and go, "What are you doing?" And we're like, "I don't know." He goes, "Give me the wick back. Give me the wick back." So
it was probably Mike. If it was me, I would have let you continue doing it. Yeah.
What's your background? I mean, where do you come from? Start. Where did aviation pop in your head?
Yeah. Well, so I grew up on the East Coast, New Jersey, just underneath at the time, it was the terminal control area. Now they call them Class Bravo airspace.
Yeah.
And so I had a burning desire to learn to fly. My brother did not go to the Air Force Academy because of medical reasons, but he was accepted and did the medical. So I think that he got me interested in aviation. And then since I was interested in aviation, I read all the aviation books all growing up. I remember one of the first books I ever read was about Billy Mitchell, which was kind of neat. It was from a small library.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had that desire to learn to fly. So when I turned 12 or 13, I decided to take that as my inspiration.
Wait a minute now. So most people talk like that when they're 18, 19, or 20.
Yeah.
You're what, 6, 7, 8?
6. Yeah,
oh my
6.
gosh.
I would lie in my bed and dream about kicking a rudder and doing a hammerhead stall.
Wow.
I started bicycling to the airport when I was 12. And I would try to catch a ride with pilots. I'd help them wash their airplane or fill the airplane with gas. I couldn't work. I was 12 years old. That's illegal. But I would just hang out at the airport. And I remember the first ride I ever got, I think I was 14. And I ended up buying one of these airplanes. It was a Piper Comanche.
Really?
It was a 260C with the leather interior.
Oh, it was really decked out then.
It was nice. It was really nice. It had that new airplane smell back then.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of which, I hear UND has some new airplanes coming in, but
Yes. Yep.
that's
Down the
beside the
line.
point. I
Yep.
digress. So I got that ride in the Piper Comanche. I was hooked. So when I turned 16, I started bicycling to the airport. In New Jersey, you don't get your driver's license till you're 17. And the airport was about 2.5, 3 miles from my house. So I would bicycle to the airport, take a flying lesson, and then bicycle home. And at the same time, I was also working at a gas station.
Oh my gosh. To
Uh,
pay for it?
yeah, to pay for it. And my mom and dad did help me out also.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, I still have the receipts from my flying
Oh
lessons
my
when I was a
gosh.
student. And it cost to rent an airplane with an instructor. It cost $16 for the Cessna 150 and $8 for the instructor. And I understand that they're still paying the instructors $8 an hour. Is that right?
I think they've gone to 9 or 10. We've gotten that. So where did the like the weather side come into effect? So you got your pilot's license,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
And then when did the weather kind of branch off?
As far as the weather, I always thought if you could forecast the weather, you would know something that nobody else really knew.
Yeah.
And also, I realized that, aviation, well, I started flying. This is back, learned to fly, taking lessons back in 1976, 77. So there was a huge pilot glut, all the, military pilots coming out of Vietnam, flooding the airlines. It was impossible to get an airline job.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So I wanted something, number one, to fall back on, and number two, that's something that's related to science because I was really good at math and physics. So I realized that meteorology would dovetail nicely with aviation. So that's how I ended up, also growing to appreciate and love weather.
So this was prior to like 4-year college degrees for aviation. So you went and got your pilot's license, and then you went. I'm guessing.
Actually, I actually had put in a application for a college on the East Coast for aviation. It was a 4-year
Really?
aviation program, and Embry-Riddle was around then also.
Okay.
But it was Dowling College. But I got an offer or I got an advertisement from the University of Oklahoma, and at that time, the department was so small. It had just started. They just moved the National Severe Storms Laboratory there. And, the classes at OU, my classes were probably about maybe 12 people in the class, 12 to
Wow.
15, which is about the size of was the size of the UND Atmospheric Science program. Also, classes typically about 15 to 20 people.
Mm-hmm.
So at OU, the University of Oklahoma, it was really easy to get on with the research project and also, make a name for yourself. So that's how I ended up working at the Severe Storms Laboratory. I did that as a research assistant my junior and senior year at OU. My job at NSSL was to punch cards. You remember punch
Oh
cards?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolute programming,
So
old programming
Yep,
computers.
the
Yep.
old, yeah, it was Fortran. I would unfold radar data. So,
Oh
in other
my
words, I would
gosh.
write an if then statement. If the azimuth was 318 and the range was 40, then divide the velocity by half.
Oh my gosh.
And that was painful, painful. But the only blessing was that when there was a severe weather day, we would have people, storm chasers. This is where storm chasing started, actually. Storm chasers would go out and try and document what they saw in the clouds and radio it back to the radar.
Wow.
And I never got to go out on the storm chase. My job on storm days was to take Polaroid pictures of the only Doppler radar for weather research at NSSL in Norman, Oklahoma.
How has like alerts changed? I mean, obviously they've gotten better from the time when you started down at Oklahoma to now. What is that time frame? I mean, a tornado, is coming, or is a possibility of tornado back then? What was the time, and now what are we at now?
Yeah, well, back then, before Doppler radar, we really didn't have a lot of warning. Basically, it was looking at the large scale, phenomena or the large scale situation, and try and parse from that what was going to happen. So you're talking, a half a day or 3 hours or something like that. The first really good forecast for tornadoes and severe weather started with the Air Force in the 1950s, and finally the Weather Service accepted that and set up a forecasting organization in Kansas City, I think in the 1960s. But as far as when Doppler radar came around, that's when things really improved as far as warnings.
Okay.
And we're down to, I think now, a time of 8 minutes or maybe less. I'm not sure
Wow.
exactly. But that's all because of being able to look at the radar and look at the velocities and figure out what's going on.
So where did you merge then? You've got weather, you've got aviation, and where'd you go? Let's put them together. Let's make a sandwich now.
What happened was I was at the University of Oklahoma taking courses in meteorology and math. I was doing well in the math, but in the meteorology classes, I didn't see how the math applied, and I was getting really frustrated. And I decided that I didn't want to continue on in meteorology. Actually, I
Really?
said, "That's it. I'm doing aviation. I'll take one more semester of meteorology just to get the credits, but I'll start doing aviation because I love
Oh,
aviation."
yeah.
And I had a course from a college professor who's renowned. His name is Howie Bluestein. His middle initials are CB for cumulonimbus. And Howie knew how to teach weather. And that's where I got my passion for teaching, actually, was from Howie Bluestein, because if he could make it understandable, I think I could probably also.
Hmm.
But, back then, you probably remember just taking lecture notes and
Oh, yeah.
writing. Yeah. But he brought weather alive. And I was hoping that I can do that for my students. But so I continued on in meteorology, but I continued on also in aviation at the University of Oklahoma. I picked up my commercial, my instrument, my CFI, my CFII. And by the time, similar to what happens with UND students here, by the time I was a junior, I was flight instructing, not in the aviation program, but on the side.
Hmm.
It was a very small aviation program. They had 4 or 5 airplanes, and they had 2 or 3 instructors, and they were actually Air Force veterans, believe it or not, from the Vietnam era. But I started instructing on the side, picking up students, and also working the flight line. And at OU Norman, Oklahoma, OU football, the football games were huge. So you'd have these jets coming in. You'd have 727s.
Oh my
Armin
gosh.
Hammer's 727 with one person or two people coming off the
Oh,
airplane. It was just incredible.
jeez. So when did you end up then making your way north and then teaching ultimately at University of North
Okay,
Dakota?
so after University of Oklahoma, I went back home to New Jersey, and for a short time, I was applying for flying jobs. I was looking for a flying job, not a meteorology
So you
job.
were actually focusing on
Oh
going
yeah,
into the flight
I
field.
was looking for
Okay.
aviation, but it was challenging to get an aviation job. I worked for a short period of time for People Express Airlines.
Oh yeah.
I think I worked there probably about maybe 6 months,
Okay.
but I did that just to kind of fill in between jobs. I was looking for an aviation job, and this is 1982. Recession's coming on in 82, 81, I think, and I actually was able to get a job flight instructing at Trenton, New Jersey for Ronson Aviation. And that was pretty fortunate because Richard Collins, I don't know if you remember Richard Collins, but he was the editor of Flying Magazine,
Okay.
based his airplane there.
Really?
So I was able to make some connections there also. But I instructed for a period of time until it was also, we had a college contract with Mercer County Community College, and I was flying 100 hours a month, which is just incredible for a flight instructor. When you're flying that much, you really start losing track of your sanity.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, definitely.
And also, our contract was coming to an end. I realized that we're coming to an end, so I started looking around. There was a atmospheric science master's program at the University of Wyoming where they had a research airplane, and that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to fly research.
Hmm.
So I ended up going to the University of Wyoming. I was able to fly with their King Air, the research airplane, but not very often. I was mostly, of course, a graduate student taking classes, doing research. My research was on microburst. That was the first study funded by the government to look at wind shear and microbursts. That was back in 82, 83, around the Denver airport. And that's actually where some of my research got picked up by Tet Fujita. He
The
included it.
Vegeta scale?
Yeah, yeah. Tet Fujita was on
Really?
that project because he's Mr. Microburst. I never got to meet Tet Fujita, But my advisor said that he needed some data. So I analyzed the data and sent it to him, and he included that data in his microburst book
Hmm.
and put my advisor's name underneath it.
Oh, no. So you got no credit
I
then?
got no credit.
Well, that's
But
all right.
every time I look at that, hey, that's my research right there.
So you come to the University of North Dakota then, start teaching.
Yeah, I came to the University of North Dakota because once again I was following the research airplane,
Sure.
and I thought I could fly and also do weather, and it was perfect. I had met Mike Pellet, who was the department chair in atmospheric sciences back in 1986. No, I take that back. Yeah, no, it was 1986 at a conference at Snowmass where I presented my research on microbursts, and just struck up a friendship, stayed in contact. And he said, "We have an opportunity here teaching contract students weather." And I jumped on that. I
Hmm.
thought, oh gosh, if there's a chance to fly that research airplane. And eventually I did. I get to fly it, right seat. Of course, the Citation jet requires two pilots.
Yep.
It's a turbine airplane. So I got to fly right seat eventually. Roger Tilbury was the research pilot. He was a great guy. And then eventually Paul Hardy ended up
Oh,
flying.
yeah.
So I got to fly with Paul a little bit also. But I flew as scientist, I flew as technician, I flew as second in command.
Oh, you've done everything though on
Yeah,
that
yeah,
plane.
yeah. So, that's the thing. I was able to bring that experience and give it to my students, actually, bring it into the classroom and talk about it, what they experience and what they expect flying in these types of conditions.
You ever get, you come in from a mission, you land at a small airport, maybe not a lot of maintenance, and you kind of have to make do with what you got on hand to fix the plane? Or did you
Yeah,
have a maintenance person with?
no, well, Paul Hardy, when I started flying with Paul, we had a dedicated technician at the time that flew with the airplane, that came with the airplane, and he actually was in the back of the airplane every flight. But then, of course, it's expensive to have a big crew, and we didn't have a really big department. So we ended up um, making our team that went out into the field smaller.
Okay.
And we did that by Paula Hardy was not only the pilot, but also the technician.
Okay. How many students do you think you've taught over the years? Well, 33 years now, right?
Oh my gosh. I came in 1989. I left in 97 because of the flood.
Yep.
Although I did teach in 99 because they needed somebody to cover aviation meteorology when Mike was out in the field, Mike Pellet. So I taught in 99, and then I came back full time in 2000.
Okay.
So that would be 2000 to 2024, I think. I
Okay.
retired, plus the previous year. So I guess that would be about 33, give or take.
How
But
many students do you think you've
oh
had?
my gosh.
Just a guess.
And that's the thing. I tried to do the math. My classes were large classes. I had
Yeah.
aviation meteorology classes that were typically 120 students. And then also I had a full complement of atmospheric science classes that were, 20 to 40 students. So looking at, 33 years and multiplying it by probably 300 a year, that gives you about 2,100 students or so. Did I do the math right?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
33
So,
times 300. That's 10,000, isn't it?
oh, wait a second.
Am I getting that
30.
wrong?
No. Oh, yeah. Never mind. Yeah.
You can fill a football stadium. We'll just say that. How
Somebody
about
got a
that?
calculator. Please do the math for me. I'm not thinking right now.
Okay, you're flying weather mod. What's one situation, like the hairiest situation? You're like, oh boy, what am I doing here? Why did I decide to take this field?
This is not being recorded. Is
No,
it?
not at all. No.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Because there was one time I was flying with a captain, and I was in the right seat of the Citation as the SIC, and there's a big fluffy, thunderstorm. Not It was a growing cumulus cloud, and I was painting it on radar. It was echoing, so I could see that it was a big, round, puffy, thunderstorm. This is here at UND, actually.
Okay.
And flying weather mod, I knew that it was an air mass. It wasn't producing hail or tornado or anything like that. It was just a big growing cumulus turning into a just big fluffy thunderstorm. And I knew that when you go into a thunderstorm from flying with weather mod, that when you go in, you get a downdraft. You're in the core, you're going up in the strong updraft, and then you come out the other side. And, velocities can be really strong. This one wasn't that strong, really. It wasn't that bad because the instability of the atmosphere was not really terrible. So I was painting and I told the captain, do you want to continue flying towards this echo? And we were doing a study looking at electrification of the cloud and the anvils. We're flying through anvils. And he said, yeah, 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 let's keep going. And another 5 seconds later, would you like to continue?
Zip. Maybe
And
tighten up the seatbelt a little
I'm
bit.
not sure if he knew how to use the radar because I was working the radar and I was looking at this going, ah.
Oh.
So yeah, I actually tightened my seatbelt and realized I guess he wants to fly into this thing. He wants to fly into this growing cumulus or thunderstorm. So might as well get ready. So I button down, we enter it, and then we're going down. What's expected before you enter, a thunderstorm or a cumulus cloud.
How much are you losing, roughly?
The downdraft is not real strong. It's the air spilling around the sides of the thunderstorm. So, it might be, 500 feet per minute or
But
nothing
it's
real bad.
noticeable.
But then into the core, you start going up, 2,000 feet per minute. And the captain says, I don't like this. I'm getting out. And you don't do that in the middle of a thunderstorm.
You can't turn.
Especially one that's only not even a mile wide.
Yeah.
You just punch through the other side, you're out. So he says, I don't like this. And I'm getting out of here. And he cranked it hard right, probably about maybe a 6-degree bank. And then, of course, the updraft catches a wing, and we're almost 90 or 100 degrees. We're almost upside down. And he says, you've got the throttles, I've got the airplane. So I'm trying to keep the engines from surging and keep them going. And he's trying to keep the airplane under control. We do a 360-degree turn in a thunderstorm. Eventually, he gets it out under control, comes out the other side. The technicians in the back were plastered to the ceiling. They weren't expecting that. And also, we had radio telemetry. So they were looking on the ground, wondering why we're doing 360s in a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
So that is. So I usually ended my aviation meteorology classes with that, telling students that, if you're going to penetrate a thunderstorm, number one, if it's a squall line or if it's a supercell, basically you're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
But if it's an air mass thunderstorm, big fluffy one, you'll come out the other side.
I mean, commit to it.
Yeah. You'll get but just don't panic. Just, keep everything under control. Do the things you need to do. Take it off of autopilot, bring it airspeed back to below maneuvering speed or around maneuvering speed, and just maintain your attitude until you come outside the other end, other side of the thunderstorm.
Fred Remer, 33 years at UND Aerospace. Where do you go from here? You're retired now, obviously. What have you done in retirement? Where are you going? What are you going to do?
Well, actually, in retirement, I continue to fly.
Oh, good for you.
So I have part ownership with another aviation professor, Al Frazier, and also another owner. We have a partnership in a Mooney. So I do quite a bit of flying with my Mooney. One thing I like to do is I am in the Mooney Caravan, which every year before Oshkosh, before the show opens, we fly a mass arrival of 60 or 70 airplanes, wingtip to wingtip, landing 3 at a time.
Where do you meet up for that?
We meet up in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, you do? Okay.
And then we have 2 or 3 days of practice just to refresh ourselves. And then we fly in en masse. And the runway at Madison is just incredible because they don't take off until everybody's on the runway. 70 airplanes on the runway. So do that. Civil Air Patrol, I fly the Cessna 182. So I enjoy doing that. But also just flying the Mooney. I like taking trips. I was just on a trip to Atlanta. It was an 8-hour trip there and 8 hours back in the Mooney. So it's kind of long. My wife needs shorter legs for bathroom breaks and other things. So we usually like to stop 2 or 3 times. But I'm still, forecasting for my own, enjoyment, just trying to stay sharp with that. And also I do, I do presentations. I've done presentations for the FAA, the FAST program. Also Civil Air Patrol, I do presentations. And then, I just also retirement. I'm enjoying retirement, traveling a lot.
I've talked to people that said they're more busy in retirement than
Yeah.
they were prior to retirement.
Yeah. I was just on a 3-week trip driving across the United States. We drive across the Southeast. We have a couple of goals, my wife and I. One is to visit all the national parks. That's typical retirement goal. But the other one, we really enjoy history. So we're visiting all the presidential libraries and
Oh,
museums.
wow.
And we were just at Monticello, and that is phenomenal.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're enjoying retirement for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. Really, really do enjoy it.
Good for you. Fred Remer, thank you very much for coming in and talking to us today.
Great. Yeah, it's great being here. Good to be back.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you use any of that?
Like a minute or two, maybe.
Okay.